This is cool. You can't film too much stuff or get copyright violation will show up on YouTube. This is my group home at 4413 Knoxville. I'll show you, I used to live in this room. I've been here for 16 months and there hasn't been a working dryer here in 16 months. But the new manager, Dexter Stewart, he's rich but he helps people, he cares about people, and so he wants us to eat right. But me and Chris got in big trouble for smoking in the house the last time he came over. Dave called him and he came over. I knew he was coming over, but I was being lazy. But we had, I didn't know he would react so violently, but he's a firefighter and we had 100 cigarette butts on the wooden windowsill or whatever, and he thinks we're gonna be like an old person that like is smoking and, you know, lets the cigarette fall on their bedding and lights the house on fire. But I did threaten to burn my parents' house down. I was mad at my dad for not bailing me out of jail. It's a front-loading washer and dryer, and all the Ultra Clean and Aleve, or whatever this is called, Arm & Hammer that you could want. That you could ever want. So me and Chris have a small room where Christopher used to live in that same bed and with Timothy T, who's a really cool black guy. That's, we all have mental problems, you know. But I didn't know what a group home was when I first moved in. My dad picked me up at a county jail in 2008. I got ended up being arrested at 2.5 months in a solitary cell in Blizzard County Jail, racist redneck motherfuckers. And they shot me with guns and like toy guns or whatever, it's with balls, with powder in it that you're not supposed to breathe. So I would smear shit on the walls. They would move me back and forth in ARO, and it took 2.5 months. And then I spent 1.5 months in my home jail, Harris County. But I don't like jail, man. Back in January, I was in jail for terroristic threat, and I thought I was going to prison. But the people were beating me up in the tanks and stuff like that. And you're not supposed to talk to the women when you're waiting to go. Anyway, there's a lot of toilet paper. And when Jennifer comes here, she'll take home toilet paper. She takes advantage of people, whatever. So there's this wheelchair boy. Sorry, I'm talking too fast. My dad doesn't like that, but this wheelchair boy. See, I was here, like, this was my bed right here. And then Jason Kelly was over there. And Muhammad was over there. But Muhammad's funny because he's homosexual. He divorced his wife. He's got a beautiful daughter that he didn't like us asking about, of course. You don't like that. I mean, a man's not going to like that. And then 2 sons, Muhammad brought Michael a new phone once with a 512 gigabytes of memory. And I should probably take a shower here. I mean, because my walk-in shower is smaller. It's, you know, when you have luxury, you get used to it. And then there's razors. When Natalie was here 3 months ago, I gave her 2 razors and $1 and change for gas. And I told her to come in and say hi. She's never been inside this house. But she's a scrapper, you know. Like, she was driving for Uber for 7 years. She's been a meth head for 7 years. I want her to go to rehab. And it helps when your partner, your friend verbalizes out loud what they're thinking, you know, so you know what's up. She said, outside Aries' house, she's like, I want to go, there's my training friend, 48-year-old Pisces, African-American girl, or boy, or whatever. My dad knows that. He doesn't respect that. My dad doesn't like homosexuals. Toothpaste, soap. But Dexter provides everything and lots of food. And then back in the day, for Princeton's, Patterson, and Denise Hilton's Lighthouse, it would be a sack of oatmeal, a ramen, and some dinner that was not that good. That's not enough calories for a lot of people. Or, you know, you're not going to eat or whatever. It's just terrible. And food stamps, he's going to take, I need to ask him, he's going to take us to get emergency food stamps. But I had $285 a month like 2 years ago, and I'm just lazy, you know. And if I wasn't so lazy, well, if I had a car, I go to Social Security and plead my case for everybody I know that gets disability gets $950, and I only get $645. But my dad doesn't tell me. He's like La Cosa Nostra. He doesn't tell me the full arc of the program. The lawyers don't get paid until you get paid. So I recommend that everyone do it because like working sucks. You don't want to work your whole life away. And this is funny. Ricardo Grande had some kind of stroke like 3 years ago. He was from Palisade, New York. He was Cuban. Had a beautiful son and a beautiful daughter. And he would help me out with a lot of things, and I would take him to the dispensary. But he had to walk on the walker. Now, it was me that installed this. I tried to, but I was, you know, my dad loves doing this stuff. My sister, too. My sister has so many tools in her garage. I used to live in her garage for a couple months, and then she kicked me out because I wasn't improving myself. Um, I'd like to put it in my room, but I have to find a screwdriver to pull that out. And I'm very helpful. Like the other day, Christopher came in here and locked the door behind himself. So it was locked, and so Dexter comes over and puts a chair outside this window so I can climb in and open the door or whatever. And so I'm helpful, you know. But I can't smell anything because of COVID. I got COVID like 20 times. I can't smell anything. I asked my PCP about it today. But anyway, I repeat myself too. I don't know who I'd tell what stories to, and so I get myself in trouble and get other people in trouble. It's another bed. I'll show you let's see the laundry. Oh, best breakfast for diabetics. We can take that. I think Super David Manager is asleep. My new bike is Chinese-made crap. The front wheel is untrue. It costs $100 for the bike and $90 for delivery. I took it over to Jay's house in Bel Air and assembled it. I'm really slow. Like Leon could do it in a half second, but my drummer is good mechanical intelligence. He built a half pipe in his backyard. He had a big backyard. See, I just had a bitch-ass, evil-ass, abusive stepmother. Leon offered to shoot her once with a BB gun from the sniper's nest across the street. But she's paranoid because one time, and when I was in the county for 2 weeks, I threatened to burn the house down. I told everybody I was going to burn the house down. And I didn't do anything. But a little later, a combination of meth, heartbreak, and alcohol, from Natalie, I walked from her apartment in West Summer, guest room, to my house. It was in the middle of the night, so I walked the whole way. When you're, manic, you can, you have like so much energy to get out. Thank God I got my circle at Walgreens today so I can sleep if I need to. When I used to smoke ice, so the first time I did it was in 2002 with Elizabeth Wilson. We snorted some ice, and I met her at this call center. This is before the internet, so it was a call center for realtors where they would call and ask for information or whatever. Very easy job, But she was insane. She was doing it in the bathroom. Her boyfriend just got busted with 350 tabs of ecstasy. And so she's rolling around with me. She's got a Mercedes-Benz car, and she's an artist in white. And I don't only like white girls, but there's a genetic component to sexual attraction, and so it is what it is. And when we moved to this country, my dad would say, or my mom or my dad, I don't remember. My dad, my mom, this looks like a black person's house. I didn't realize that my stepmother was black. She's from Fred de Santana, near Salvador, Brazil. So this is his email and stuff. But see, he's paid for, this house was unlicensed for 16 months. We could have gotten kicked out, which is why they didn't want me to call 911, because when they called 911, one time it was for Muhammad, and Muhammad had open heart surgery like a year ago, and I tried to be helpful to him, but he was an asshole. He's a pig. Oh, I didn't tell you, in that back room, he would say, "Cover yourself, Jason," and Mike said at Boeing he saw them jerking off in front of each other like a circle jerk. So it's really gay, I don't like that. Oh, there's this address. He lives in Spring. He drives a Dyson, I say it wrong, Elon Musk truck. Occupancy load 10, number of beds 10, current load 10, that's not right, but certificate of occupancy. This is new, I haven't seen this. And then we have, when I first moved in here on February 19th, I came from Oceans Behavioral in Pasadena. It was kind of like it was kind of rehab for me, but it was cold and someone didn't pay the power bill and it was freezing. So I had to spend the night at Larkspur with Muhammad, who was up all night. His son Muhammad works at Best Buy and got him a Fire TV last year, and the motherfucker will leave it running all night. He's a big asshole. He's 65 years old, Mahmoud Hadous, and his mail is here. I ran into Mike, my old manager, on my bike ride home, but this is an EMS for Jason Covington, the wheelchair boy. But Dexter couldn't handle him. Dave didn't want him here. Nobody wants him here, and so, I could handle him, but this is mail all for Princeton Patterson, the old manager, the old owner, who's a piece of shit. But they're friends, whatever. But my neighbor's been terrorizing me for 6 months, looking for his $100. That's long story short is Dexter paid him $100. in front of me, and like I said, sorry, Rufus, about the wait. I'll talk to you later. Bye.